Hey everyone, what is going on? So welcome back to another meta guide. So this is going to be the Great League remix, and I know this is a lot to take in. We're going to talk about it, we're going to break it down, but they did announce the banned Pokemon for this cup. So it does begin next week when the second half of the season begins. So yeah, we have 13 banned Pokemon. Now they originally said 10 banned Pokemon, so we'll talk about why there's 13 banned. But let's go ahead and just dive right into the banned Pokemon. Okay, so the first one up is going to be Venusaur, obviously one of the better Pokemon, right? So of course it's going to be banned. Then we have Kanto Raichu. So this is very interesting, right? Why did they ban Kanto Raichu? Well, because the Alolan one was the one that was actually banned. So because of that, they're taking all Pokemon with that Pokédex number 26, and banning it. So because the Alolan one was banned for the Remix Cup, the Kanto one is automatically going to be banned. For example, next up, we have Alolan Malwak. Now, obviously, the Alolan version was the one that was banned because it's the one you see all the time. So because of that, they're going to take the Kanto Malwak and ban that as well. So, I mean, it doesn't matter about that. Obviously, the Alolan one was the good one. But that's why we have a couple of extra Pokemon. So 13 in total. But next up, we have Umbreon. Okay, obviously makes sense. Azumel, we all knew that was going to be banned. Skarmory, Swampert, Galvantula, all of those make perfect sense. Galarian Stunfisk was banned, so again, we have the Universe Stunfisk, which is banned. Now, both of them are actually good, so, because the Galarian one was banned, Universe one cannot be eligible either. So again, both of them are banned, and Talonflame. So, Talonflame is an interesting pick. It's more so seen in the Ultra Premier Cup, I believe, than the Great League. But it's a good Pokemon. I think a lot of people were trying it when it was released. That's why they chose, maybe that's why it was one of the top used Pokemon, because a lot of people were trying it. I think it kind of lost a little bit of interest. It's still good, but I think that's probably why it was chosen for this list, why it was one of the top 10 Pokemon. But either way, that is the ban list. I have it here for you, so you cannot use any of those Pokemon. Those 13 Pokemon cannot be used in the Great League Remix at all. So what are going to be the good Pokemon? So let's go ahead and look at the S tier. So you're going to have Metacham now. You can use the regular Metacham, but the XL1 is going to be a lot better. It's going to be a lot tankier. Some of these, I would say, okay, you can get away with using Pokemon that are not XL'd, and that generally applies for Metacham. Maybe you XL'd it a little bit. You could use it. You could use it. So I would say go ahead and probably use one. I have enough to XL mine a little bit, but not. I have a rank 49. I can't XL that all the way, unfortunately, because I don't have enough candy. So I might use one, but it's not going to be fully XL'd. And if you're probably in the same boat, so you could definitely go ahead and use it. And it's going to be one of the top Pokemon, if not the best one. Then we have Bastiodon, which is going to be another top pick. They did not ban that. That was not in the top 10 list, unfortunately. So you're definitely going to see it, no doubt about it. But it's going to be a great Pokemon. No Galarian Stunfisk to threaten it. You have other things like Metacham to threaten it, but, obviously Galarian Stunfisk was a big answer to Bastiodon. That's not anymore, so Bastiodon is going to be great. If you happen to have an XL1, it's better. You don't need an XL1. I don't have one, so you could use a regular one. Reggie Steele, I think, is going to be amazing. Another tank. Making its return. I mean, it's, obviously it's always been a good Pokemon, even with the nerf, but now it's just going to be better in the Great League Remix, I feel like. And then we have Defense Deoxys. This is going to bother a lot of people because this hasn't been around for years, I feel like, right? I think it has been years, and you can't trade for one. So if you don't have one, you can't use it, and that's really unfortunate. So this is going to bother quite a bit of people. I see people coming into my chat and my stream saying, "What can I use instead of Deoxys? I don't have it." And I get it, but it's still one of the top Pokemon, so I got to put it on the list. And then we have Alteria. So Azumel and Galarian Stunfisk are banned. Why wouldn't Alteria shine, right? I mean, it was amazing before Galarian Stunfisk came out. You saw it all the time. Ever since Galarian Stunfisk came out, it's still good, but it's not seen as often. Why wouldn't it be good now since you banned Galarian Stunfisk and Azumel? Definitely going to be the top flyer, in my opinion. Skarmory isn't even around, so going to be one of the top flyers. Actually, definitely going to be the top flyer. So the A-Rank Cresselia, super bulky. I mean, Cresselia is good right now in the Open Great League, so it's going to be good in the Remix for sure. Then we have Shadow Machamp. I think the Metacham XL is going to be the best fighting type, but Shadow Machamp is always good. We know how good it is, going to be good against those tanks. Alolan Ninetales, you could use it with Charm or Powder Snow. I think Chum is going to be really good. You just have to obviously watch out mainly for Bastiodon, to be honest with you. Reggie Steele as well, as I said, but I think Bastiodon is going to be the king of the walls. So once you eliminate that, if they don't have 2 walls, I mean, I think Alolan Ninetales is going to do really well. With Charm, but with Powder Snow as well, whichever way you want to go about it. But I think both are going to be really good. Then we have Vigoroth, which counter user, super spammy with Body Slam. We know how good Vigoroth is. Definitely going to be able to do well against Bastiodon, against Reggie Steele. It does have to watch out for Focus Blast against Reggie Steele, of course, right? But it's definitely going to be a great answer, so I do recommend. I think we'll see quite a bit of Vigoroth, honestly. Next up, we have Sableye or XL Sableye. Now, I only have, I think, like 9 XL candies, so I might be using Sableye, but it's not going to be an XL one. Obviously, the XL is going to be better, so if you have it, awesome. If you don't have it, awesome. I mean, you can still use Sableye Purified with Return. Definitely recommend the Return variant. But yeah, if you don't have it, that's okay. You don't need to. Hopefully you have it best buddied. But yeah, so going to be a great safe swap. Then we have Wigglytuff. I think Charmers, as I mentioned with Ninetales, are going to dominate. So, I think they're going to be really good. If you put an answer in the lead with, like, let's say a fighting type, an answer to, like, Bastiodon, and then you have double Charm in the back, I think that's going to do really well. I'm sorry, guys, but I really do think that's going to do really well. Then the B rank, we do have this Scrafty. So Scrafty is going to be another fighting type, definitely a solid one. Again, I think the Pokemon like Metacham are going to be better, but still really good. Then we have another Flyer, Mandibuzz, which is another Pokemon that's going to be good. I still think Alteria is better, but Mandibuzz definitely is bulky, so it does have a lot of play. Toxicroak is another fighting type, definitely really solid. Shadow Abomasnow is a good Pokemon, we see it right now. I think we will see it. It does have to watch out for quite a bit of things. For example, the multiple fighting types in this format, as well as like the Steel types like Bastiodon and Reggie Steele. Those Pokemon pretty much wall it, right? So it has a lot to watch out for, so it might not be as good. It's better, I think, in the Ultra Premier. But, I still think it has definitely has some play. Then we have Mew. The common moveset is Shadow Claw, Surf, and Wild Charge, or Shadow Claw, Wild Charge, and Flame Charge. Both movesets are good. Mew could have any moveset it wants, basically, or almost any moveset. So, even if you're battling one, it could have a different moveset than what you're familiar with. That's why Mew is so good. Then we have the other options. So we're leading things off with Frostlass. Then we have another Charm user, Clefable. I do think the Ninetales and the Wigglytuff are better than Clefable in the Great League Remix. But this is another Charm user you could definitely consider. We have another counter user being Escavalier. Then we have Lickitung. Now, with Lickitung, I don't recommend using a Lickitung unless if you have an XL'd one. If you have an XL'd one, it's great, or maybe at least close to maxed out. If you don't have an XL one, I probably wouldn't use this Pokemon, but it definitely is really good for the Great League Remix, so pretty good, solid Pokemon. Then we have another fighter being that Primeape. So Primeape, another solid fighting type. Again, I don't think it's the best one. I think Metacham is, but it's definitely an option, and you'll probably see it. Then we have Tropius. Tropius is really good. I think Alteria is going to outshine Tropius for the Great League Remix, but I still think Tropius is good. It is a regional. As you guys know, but I still recommend it. It's still really good, right? So if you happen to have it, more power to you. That is awesome. If you don't have it, I don't think it's going to necessarily dominate the Great League Remix, but it is going to be good. So if you don't have it, that's okay. You can move past it. Then we have Melmetal. So Melmetal with the 30-second timer that had just elapsed was doing really well, obviously, because it could spam those moves, go for superpower and dip, right? But obviously with the 60-second timer, it's not as good, but I still think it's really solid. So, yep, there's Melmetal for you. Then we have Politoed. Obviously, Politoed we see a lot, really spammy with Weather Ball, right? Mudshot, Weather Ball. Then we have Rainy Cast Form, which is a great Pokemon in general. Then we have Driftblim, another flying type. Again, not the best flying type. I don't think that is going to go to Alteria, but it's still a pretty good flying type. I also put Reggie Steele and Lapras on this list. Those are pretty okay Pokemon. I mean, we don't really see them too much in the Great League in general, and I don't think they'll be too relevant in the Great League Remix, but you never know. I mean, especially with Lapras, it could be okay. But moving on to the solid team choices, I do have Alteria as a lead. Again, as I mentioned already, I think it's going to be the most dominant flying type in the Great League Remix, especially since they banned Skarmory. They also banned Talonflame, and, Tropius is good, don't get me wrong, it's great, but I think Alteria is just going to dominate in the Great League Remix. You're going to see it all the time, especially with no Galarian Stunfisk and no Azumel, so to threaten it. So I think it's definitely going to dominate. It just has to watch out for the walls as well as the charm uses, right? So the walls being Bastiodon and Reggie Steele, and then the charm uses. But so I have that as the lead, and then XL Metachamp, or even the regular Metachamp, and same with Sableye. Sableye is a really good safe swap. It might be interesting in the Great League Remix, though, to see how good of a safe swap it is, because, if charm uses are hiding in the back, it's not going to be a good safe swap, but we'll have to see if it's common. But I think that's a pretty solid team. Then next up, I have Bastiodon. Again, if you don't have an XL1, that's fine. I put it in the lead because I think Alteria is going to be really common in the lead, so that's why I put Bastiodon in the lead. With Deoxys and Wigglytuff in the back. So I think Deoxys is a great safe swap. Sableye is basically the only thing that really threatens it for the most part, I think. Everything else is, Deoxys can at least go head to head with everything else, I think, right? So, unless there's something I'm not thinking about, but I think it's a great safe swap. And then we have Wigglytuff, which is a charm user. As I said, charms are going to dominate. Then I have a team that people might not like. I do have Shadow Machamp with double charm users in the back, and I am choosing charm on that Alolan Ninetales. So, the idea for this team is to have a fighting type. It could be Metacham, it could be Machamp. Honestly, Metacham is probably the way to go, especially if you have an XL1, or at least XL'd a little bit. But the idea for this team is to have the Machamp for like the Steel type, Bastiodon, Reggie, Steele, Melmetal if people have it, another Steel type. If they don't lead with it, you could swap out into a charm user to lure it out. So swap into Wigglytuff to lure out the Bastiodon. Obviously, Bastiodon's going to win that matchup, but then you could bring in your fighting type and counter it down, do a lot of damage, and then sweep with the other charm user in the back, as long as they don't have double steal, which double steal could very well be popular. It is currently, with Galarian Stunfisk, but because that is banned, obviously you can't use that. But maybe with Bastiodon and Reggie Steele. But I don't know if people will use Bastiodon and Reggie Steele together just because of the fighting types like Metacham. Gonna be so common, right? But either way, this is the Great League Remix. Let me know what team you plan on using. Let me know what you think of the banned list. And I will see you all in the next one. Have a good day, guys. Bye.